Plenty of talk today about last night's debate, including one of the questions in that debate about Quebec. But there are also some far more subtle indications of how it went for the leaders. Here to dissect the leaders' body language last night is Mark Bowden, a world-renowned body language expert and author. He's in Toronto. Okay, Mark, looking forward to this. Let's get into it. I want to start with what you saw before the debate even began. Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet caught your eye. Why is that?
So Blanchet had already annexed himself before the debate began. He's off to the side. He's doing some kind of long-distance runner warm-up at the start. He'd be checking his watch, seeing that that's working while everybody else is dealing with their notes. He'd be pacing up and down. And when it finally came to that family photograph at the start, he stands splayed, legs akimbo, a whole different character than everybody else we're seeing. That the rest of them very much in one pack, him annexed to the side, whole different character, whole different attitude to this debate.
Okay, and next clip that you've selected, Mr. Trudeau, the incumbent leader, and therefore he's the one who triggered the election. Let's take a look at this.
First of all, I want to thank Canadians for being here tonight and making an important choice, and also, quite frankly, for everything you've done over the past number of months to help get ourselves and our neighbours through this. Tonight, over the next
okay, what do you make of his reactions when asked about leadership and accountability there?
Yeah, so symmetrical gestures there, which is great. He will lock eye contact with the camera, very low blink rate. It's really quite seductive. Lots of looks for approval there, lots of eyebrow raises to make sure we're agreeing with him. So he always wants to dominate and seduce and bring the audience in order to agree with him, always looking for that agreement.
Okay, Afghanistan, another hotly discussed subject last night. How did the leaders handle this in your view? And we'll take a look.
It was a bad decision to call an election while this crisis was going on, looking at peril for their lives and may never get out of Afghanistan.
So Singh here is way more asymmetrical, way more destabilized, lots of shoulder shrugs in there as well. Unsure, I think, if he should be agreeing with O'Toole on this, but has to side with him on it. And then when we go to Blanchet, again, asymmetrical. He has this habit of looking to the side, looking down, looking often a little bit indifferent. Again, not strong, not symmetrical, not very certain about the ideas that he's getting across. And that's very different, again, from Trudeau, more symmetrical. Again, those looks for approval there, those eyebrow raises, locking eye contact. And then we go to Paul. Really good job here, really symmetrical, emphatic with the gestures, downward gestures to make her point strong. I think some of the others there could have taken her gestures there and applied those to what they were saying.
Climate change, a big issue for a lot of voters out there. Trudeau and O'Toole have very different platforms on that subject. Let's take a look at how that articulated itself in this exchange.
Costed platform, which you just put out last night, cuts
Mr. Trudeau,
$2 billion
never
from climate investments
made a target.
And from things. And for our friends in BC...
So Trudeau, asymmetrical now, pinch gestures and trying to push down his point, trying to take control of that fine point with these fine manual gestures there. So we know he's destabilized by this because normally he'd be more seductive to the camera. He'd be having more gestures of approval. O'Toole gesturing over to him there and then being emphatic with his gestures together down the wheel plane, almost imploring the audience to agree with him. Trudeau does a wipe gesture there, almost a jazz hands gesture, brushes over that, brushes that away, and he's back to pinning down his point very clearly to take control of it.
One of the most discussed moments from last night was the exchange between the Green Party leader, Annamie Paul, and the Bloc leader, Yves-François Blanchet. We'll take a look at it and you break it down.
I actually had to pull my jaw up, which just dropped, when I heard what Mr. Blanchet said. I invited Mr. Blanchet to get educated about systemic discrimination. Here,
because she literally demonstrates for us that holding up the dropping of the jaw. So brilliantly displayed there. it creates a real hit for him. We see that Blanchet stops still there, okay? And then he has to implore for more time. That's a non-verbal concept. The only thing you can do to countermeasure that display is go, it's been unfair. I really needed more time around this.
All right. Overall assessment of their performances. Give us a quick headline.
Yeah, so I would say Trudeau, he dominates, he's seductive, but he always looks for that approval and does get destabilized when he goes into those asymmetrical gestures. O'Toole, very decided, often symmetrical, very assured. Often those imploring, praying gestures don't play maybe as well as he would like. Singh, his blink rate was right up, so he was under quite a lot of stress compared to others. His blink rate was double that of Trudeau. Maybe Trudeau's more used to this, but certainly Singh was under a lot of pressure that night. Paul did a great job with her symmetry there and getting the point across in a very new situation for her, certainly. And Blanchet, a little bit annexed and would at times look indifferent. So not a good look for him overall, I think, during this debate.
All right. Interesting analysis. Mark, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.